Welcome back to Ripe Avocados. Today we're going to review Weapons, directed by Zach Kreger. Movie of the summer, movie of the year, maybe. We'll get into it and see what it was about.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day.
So the movie Weapons, it starts off with 17 kids in a third grade class at 2:17 a.m. just decide to get up out of their beds, walk out the door, and Naruto run down the street. And no one knows why. And the whole movie is told from multiple perspectives. One from the teacher of the class, one from Thanos, who is the parent to one of the children that went missing. One was Doctor Strange's sidekick, Benedict Wong, who is the principal at the school, and then a cop, a druggie. And it's all these converging storylines that slowly reveal kind of where the kids went and what the whole purpose of it was.
Yeah. Very Tarantino-esque, too.
Yep. And they slowly but surely start to realize that the creepy clown lady that decided to show up in town is behind all of the devious shit. And honestly, the kids end up full blitzing her at the end and tearing her apart. So in the end, it was all rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, that was probably the least graphic human
Dismemberment of all time.
Dismemberment I've ever seen. Yeah, like the one that I was least scarred by, but it was still really disgusting. But
Yeah.
it was bittersweet in the end. So you know how this works. We'll do our scores first, and then we'll get into the entertainment. So we're gonna go high here, Sean. I really liked this movie. I went 8.6 for entertainment.
I went 8.9 for entertainment.
I went 9.0 for characters.
I went 8.7 for characters.
I went 9.2 for cinematography.
9.3.
Should probably be nerfed because it's a horror movie, but whatever.
It was so good, this movie.
So good. And then I went 8.9 for writing, which has to be a horror record.
That has to be. I went 8.5. So
okay. I actually just changed it too from a 7.9. That's what I wrote down originally.
damn.
And
The second time watching it through.
Yeah, I watched this movie 2 times, back-to-back nights. And so I got a full dose of Weapons, but I think we should probably just start with our overall reactions like we normally do. So you really liked it. Why?
I mean, first of all, I loved it before I even saw it. I've seen the trailers so many times, the teasers in movie previews online, and it just grabbed me immediately. One of my favorite movies is Prisoners, right? Little girl gets abducted, goes missing. Hugh Jackman's doing literally anything and everything to try and find her. This movie hooked me in the same way with those teaser trailers and the full trailers. I didn't know where it was going to go, and I think that was fantastic. And it just had a great mix of a little bit of horror. I would say mainly thriller, though. I would say Weapons is more of a thriller movie than a horror, which is probably why I liked it so much. But it also had elements of comedy. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to shoot a joke at you and expect everyone to laugh. It's just these little subtle things. Following the characters of the cop and the druggie. Like, them going back and forth was hilarious. I thought Austin Abrams, I believe is his name, who played the druggie. He was fantastic.
Yes.
And I love a movie that has multiple storylines. And again, that, what's the word I'm looking for? The unreliable narrator almost, right? You're following all these people and you're learning more things about them as you're following the different perspectives, and you're like, this person isn't so great, actually. So I wonder if they have, any knowledge, or maybe they have a play in why these kids are going missing. But then, of course, the creepy clown lady. Like,
Yeah, she's
it's
the obvious
her.
answer. She's the obvious answer. Who would you say is your favorite of the 5 main storylines? So you alluded to them. We have. I'll just. This is just for the viewers. So we have the boy. Oh fuck, I can't remember his
Alex.
name. Alex. Yes. Sorry. Alex, James, the homeless guy, Paul, the cop, Archer, otherwise known as Thanos, and Rose Langmore, who is, oh my god, how do I not have her name? Janice something, right?
Julia Garner.
Right, but her character's name is,
Oh,
I think it's Janice. It begins with a
Justine.
Justine. Yeah,
Justine Gandy.
Justine Gandy. Okay, so out of those 5, which one of those initial 5 storylines did you think was the best one?
I mean, of course, following Justine is fantastic to me, just from a viewing experience. It reminded me a lot of that show Outsider, The Outsider, with Jason Bateman on HBO Max, just because it's set in a small town and it's like someone, a figure in their community that you would want to believe and love, and like she's taking care of the kids. Like, how could it be her? But then the whole community shifting, and especially led by Archer, who's Josh Brolin's character, being like, why the fuck is she the only one still here? Like, she has to know something. So I thought following her character and seeing all the shit that she has to deal with from the community, but also from Gladys the Witch Lady, I thought that was fantastic. But ultimately, the ones I love following the most was probably the cop and the druggie. Like, I thought their storylines were hilarious. I won't say they were pivotal to the storyline, but I thought it was great to get their perspectives and see how much damage Gladys is doing within this community.
Right. I completely agree with one part of that. I loved James. He was my favorite character probably in the whole movie. I think when Paul and James start their little tango when he's arresting him multiple times or attempting to arrest him the second time, the story picked up a lot from that point. It was very interesting before that, but a lot of investigative stuff. You know, Rose Langmore, or oh my god, Miss Gandy, but we all know her as Rose Langmore from Ozark. She and Josh Brolin are doing their detective handiwork. Rose Langmore finds the cult house, or the house where everything is deriving from, very early
The
on.
one house with newspaper over every single window.
Yeah, she finds it very early. Josh Brolin's also doing his detective work, and we're figuring out more pieces of information. Then we see the zombified principal like attack him, and then from that point forward, we're like, what the fuck is happening? And then we see the cop and the drug dealer, or the druggie, going back and forth. I just thought that whole perspective was really cool. And you mentioned the unreliable narrator. I mean, when James is running from what he thinks is Gladys, what an awesome way to tell that little spiel of the story.
Yeah.
Because James is just losing his shit. I mean, we see him literally shoot up or do some meth like 5 minutes before this, camera wise. But oh my god, man, the way they paced all those storylines, there was not one bit of information in this entire movie that I thought was unnecessary or dulling the plot in any way.
Yeah.
Like, from the beginning, we get that narrator from the trailer that we all heard, like the creepy little kid talking about how his or I think it's a female, but she's describing her classmates leave.
Yeah.
And the one thing I want to take this to is just the marketing of this movie was so well done, because you're right, the trailer was good, but they hid that one huge piece of information from the actual script that we didn't know, which is that Alex is actually the one surviving kid in this classroom. In the whole trailer, you're made to believe that nobody else in this class is there. It's just empty, basically. And then right away, a minute in, we're like, oh, okay. Or at least that was my reaction to that. I was like, okay, this is really gonna make me think now.
No, I completely agree. And also, to your point about there not
marketing.
really being a scene that was unwarranted or didn't add to the plot, big shout out to Zach Kreger. I've seen multiple interviews with him talking about he storyboarded this whole thing and worked with his videographers and cinematographers on shooting the whole thing before they even shot the movie. Like, they had still images of what exactly they wanted to do. And he said they only probably cut 3 scenes maybe. So they really compacted this whole crazy story with multiple perspectives into 2 hours, and it was incredible.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I think Zach Kreger right now is my second favorite director alive. He's done two movies. He's done 2 movies, Barbarian and this, but I cannot
3
stop.
if you include the fail Miss March, but
Was he the lead director on that movie?
I think he was.
Okay, but was it co-directing or anything like that? Because I was looking more into it, and it looks like Barbarian was his first one, but
Maybe solo. He might have like co-directed with his best friend Trevor Moore, who rest in peace. But
okay, well, I'm a huge fan of his, and I do want to counter what you were saying before. I think this movie was just half horror, half thriller. Like, it's just an ode to Zach Kreger. I think, yeah, it's very involved and makes you think a lot. And there is not any stupid jump scare horror that is not necessary in this movie. It's just really fucking weird, creepy, but it all makes sense. And all of these characters, we're going to talk about them now, their actions in all horror movies that we watch, for the most part, there's usually like one really stupid character that just like drives the plot and makes it keep going. But in Barbarian and this movie especially, I thought the way he made certain characters choose certain things was so fucking amazing. So I'll transition it now to that, right? The thing that I thought was so amazing about this movie was how it was like right under their nose. Everyone in this town that we're following, there's this demon house basically in the middle of town, literally smack dab in the middle. They show us a map of it like 4 times. There's a demon, some crazy shit's going on right in the middle of this town. And who's the first person to see it? It's a school teacher. What does she do? She peeks inside because she's like, this is fucking weird. And she gets freaked out, drives away, and calls the principal, tells him what she's thinking. Like, this is weird. Like, one of my students has no lights on in his house. All his windows are taped up. That's fucking weird, right? Josh Brolin goes nowhere near that house until the end of the movie. The first person to enter this house has every motive and necessity to enter that house, and that's James, the homeless guy.
Yeah.
And we see his whole path of why he even decided to go in there, right? If it was pouring rain, would he have gone in there? Probably not. If he didn't just get clocked in the face for stabbing the cop in the face with his needles, probably not, right? He's literally living in the woods. He probably would have been totally cool just hanging out there, but he had all this weird shit drive him towards that house. Yeah. He goes in it, and then push comes to shove, right? Then Paul goes in there because Paul is going through all these other tribulations with his life, and then eventually, you know, Josh Brolin and Rose Langmore go back. So I thought that was so fucking well thought out. Like, I really like James's character and Paul, like I mentioned before, just because of how those two guys were both lying out of their teeth, and they both wanted something to better their lives. Paul was more so just trying to maintain the image he had of like a good life. Like, he's got a wife, he's got a good job, his boss
father-in-law
is his father-in-law,
boss,
who we assume he's probably going to be in line to get a good couple promotions in that department, but he's really just a piece of shit, like cheating on her, doing all this stuff. But we see why. I mean, his wife is kind of annoying or whatever. I'm not condoning that. But then James, for the same reason, he just ran out of supply, and he's like, I need to get high right now. So what does he do? He starts trying to accumulate as much money as he can. And
I mean, that opening shot where you switch to James's perspective, because you see him earlier in the film, like trying to haggle Justine for like opening the door, like, hey, I just need like enough money to get a bus ticket to go see my sister or some shit.
Yeah.
But the first scene you see from his perspective, him calling his family, asking them for money while constantly trying to open car doors as he's
Yeah.
walking through the neighborhood. It's
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah. And I like too his interaction with Rose Langmore too, where I just think his character was really innocent and he wasn't creepy or weird in any way. Sure, like when a homeless guy's trying to open the door for me when I'm going to McDonald's in like New York, it's fucking annoying and it's weird. And this was probably annoying to her. I mean, she doesn't give a fuck about this guy, but he literally just wants drugs and
Yeah.
he's not gonna like chase her and like rob her or whatever. Like, yeah, he's burglarizing an empty house later on and like carjacking. He's not a perfect person by any means, but I just think his actions made so much sense.
Yeah. I also thought, again, coming from James's perspective, when he finally goes into the house, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because you're right. When from Justine, the way they shift perspectives, you learn more and more. Like from Justine's perspective, you're only from the outside. She's peeking in through one of the newspaper cracks. But
Right.
with
How
James's
many?
character, he actually goes in there and you
Yes.
see what's actually going on in that house.
Let me
But
ask you a question. How
yeah,
many horror movies out of if you were to watch 100 horror movies and this is kind of a hard rhetorical to ask, but say another character is in that same scene with different director, I think what 80%, 90% of the time that first character is going to go into that house, which she doesn't
yeah,
do. Yeah.
100%. But
But
again, the
that's just Zach
genius,
Cregger, man.
yeah,
Like
the
he
genius
wrote
of
five
the
direct plot lines for five separate characters.
exactly,
That's
yeah,
some Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino shit.
yeah, and again, each character is just imperfect. Like none of them are perfect. None of them are someone that you look at and you're like, I'm 1,000% like rooting for this person. Everyone has their own little qualms.
I thought Archer was the most solid guy, though. He didn't really do anything wrong. He was just not working really, and like grieving his son. But he didn't take anything to drastic measures. I thought originally, again, just great camera work and great storytelling.
Yeah.
It made it seem like he was going to break to her house in the very beginning. I don't know if that was his plan or he was just following her or whatever. They also made it seem like Rose Langmore was going to follow Alex and maybe it would get weird and something like when
Yeah.
she starts stalking him at the school in the beginning. I'm like, okay, is she gonna be a little fucking weird here? And
Well, because
it's
they
gonna
they
go
talk,
elsewhere.
they bring that up too. Like I think Archer might even bring it up at that when they're having that whole parent teacher conference thing where he's like, she's had past problems with teacher or with students. Like she got
Yeah.
fired from her last one and had to move. So again, all these little things, and again, even with Archer's character, yes, he reminded me a lot of Hugh Jackman, willing to do anything to try and find his son. But you see his son Matthew bullying the shit out of Alex in school,
Yeah,
and I'm sure Matthew, like, granted, they don't go into a lot of the personal life of Archer and what his relationship is with his son, but I guarantee there's probably a little underlying shit there where Matthew is learning, you know, bully tendencies from his
Yeah.
father.
oh definitely, yeah,
But to go back to James's perspective going into the house, it reminded me a lot of Justin Long's character in Barbarian, where he's clearly in a very serious situation here, but his mind is so focused on wanting drugs, wanting to steal. There's two
Yeah.
people in a catatonic state sitting right in front of him, and he's just like, fuck it, let me go to the silverware drawer.
yeah. That was the tape measure scene from
Exactly,
Barbarian. It was
exactly.
yeah, and I loved it. I loved every second
Yeah.
of it because Zach Cregger can do that shit because he made it. So
Yeah.
it's not like stolen valor or any nonsense like that. I do want to correct what I said before. Archer is not the most pure character that we see. It's 1,000% Alex, the
Yes.
kid. And the only negative things you could make on him, and you and I were talking a little bit about this offline, and I completely see your point. Like, I changed my perspective on this. He agrees to go along with his crazy Aunt Gladys or whatever, but at a huge threat to his life, safety, anything he knows. I mean, this kid is fucking like 6 years old or 7, and he's intentionally, I'm sure he was picked because he's very small, petite kid, but I loved this kid, dude, because he was so like he was just so poised and handled everything like just a G. He is witnessing pure horror at his house just over the course of about a week during this movie, and he never sways whatsoever. He's literally grocery shopping. He's walking home miles to a literal cult dungeon of a house where his parents are zombies. He has no idea what's going on. There are kids kidnapped at his school that he unmistakably took part in helping do, but he was just tricked by his aunt Gladys.
And he's taking care of all of them.
Yes,
washing them,
yes.
feeding them.
Yes.
I mean, it's insane. I will say, my favorite storylines or perspectives to follow were the cop and James. Because there was a lot of humor there and it was just fun to watch. But Alex's storyline really kind of put the whole story together. Seeing this kid, like, seeing him interact with his parents when they were alive and well, like the dad really loving, like he had such a great home life, and this parasite of a witch injects herself into that life and just sucks all the fun, all the life and color out of his life pretty much, and has it so Alex is basically her little pawn working in this dungeon of hers. It's such a tragic storyline, and even at the end, the fact that his parents are probably never ever going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to be stuck in that vegetative state. It's honestly pretty tragic and horrifying, but
it
all
was
props
weird.
to that actor.
I honestly think Zach Cregger got towards the end and he was like, I might be able to make this a sequel, so I'm not going to completely wrap it up here. Because he said, like, some of the kids started talking again, and we see Josh Brolin immediately start talking, and he was the one in the shortest amount of trance. So
Yes, exactly.
I would assume that over the course of time, they'll all regain that, but I mean, it's obviously supernatural, and it's up to Zach Cregger to decide that.
Who knows? The parents might have been under the trance, like, too long, and their brain is just zapped.
Yeah. One more line or dialect I want to bring up before we go to cinematography is one of the conversations between Paul and James that I thought was so good when he first arrests him. And I was saying how they're both just like lying out of their teeth. James originally is like, I was just trying to go to work, man. Like I forgot my key. Right? Which we didn't know at the time. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe he was. I don't know. And Paul, the first thing he says is, you got anything in your pockets? And I'm thinking, this dude's trying to just fucking rob this guy, the cop. Did you think that too? No. I thought he was good. Oh, that's what I took from it. Because he was already drinking on the job, and he found some guy who's like a victim if you're looking to like rob somebody. I mean, no one's accounting for this guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was already pissed off with all his personal stuff going on at home. I was just kind of wondering why he was asking him all that stuff. I get that James ran from him and did all that stuff before. But I thought that was just a funny scene because they're both just like lying back and forth, and then we get confirmation later on.
All their dialogue was hilarious. When he first sticks him, he's like, do you have AIDS? He's like, I don't know.
just Paul like lying through his teeth the whole time too. He shows up at the bar with Rose Langmore, and he's like, is it okay if I hug you? And he doesn't drink in front of her.
Yeah.
He's like, no, He's like, I'm in no rush.
I mean, he literally tells her that he split up with his wife.
Yeah, yeah. and it was just, his lines were very well matriculated. They all were, but he was just an incredible, like, lying douchebag. But he got
with a sick
what he
mustache.
deserved. All right, do you want to do cinematography?
Yeah.
So I loved it. Obviously, I think the whole fucking arms running around was so creepy. I saw an interview where Zach Cregger was just like, I thought that thing looked so weird and creepy, so I just told them to do it, and it definitely did look really fucking creepy. I sometimes I'll cope with myself when I'm at a horror movie and try and laugh if there's something that's like really crazy. It's supposed to make me scared, but I'm just coping with it. But even when when the kids were fucking running up that street, when we see it happen, I was getting chills. Like, and I know it's literally just 17 actual kids running. Like, there's no CGI or anything like that. Sorry, I hit my mic. But the way they're like hopping too, it just looks so fucking weird. And the way the Asian Principal is running too.
Yeah.
When he cuts it like 3 times because he's running so far, that was such an effective
Yeah.
way to cut that and make it
yeah.
seem even more fucking weird and creepy.
When Julia Gardner's talking to Josh Brolin at the gas station, and it just pans with her eyes, looking off into the distance, and you just see Benedict Wong fucking sprinting down, and his eyes are just bulging out because
Yeah.
he just got finished smashing his husband's face in.
Yeah.
No, I thought one of the craziest scenes, though, and I'm sure it's being talked about online, but when Julia
know what you're
Gardner
gonna say.
is staking out the house
Yeah, that
and
was
she
the best
falls
scene of
asleep
the
in
movie.
the car.
Best scene of the movie.
So many
Easily.
horror, because I was expecting the jump scare. I was
Mm-hmm.
expecting the jump scare, and again, credits to Zach Kreger here. Doesn't even give you a jump scare, but just gives you chills down your entire body because the
That-
suspense building up was insane. You
Yeah.
see the mom coming out the house, walking all the way down, standing in front of the door, and I expected her to like smash the window, do something crazy, nay-naying all the way down. And then you just see her walk around and then hear her opening the car door. Like, I know my jaw dropped, and I heard so many audible gasps in the theater when that happened.
Yes, and he kept zooming in on that door to the house too.
Yeah.
Like that weird shot where he's zooming in on the door. That scene was so fucking good. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're even a horror fan, if you watch that, and not even to mention just the time lapses too. And again, creating the unreliable narrator. Rose Langmore is sitting in her car. She's staking it out. She's got somebody walk by her. I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's Alex's mom or something. I don't know. It had nothing to do with it, right? It was just some stroller. And then flashes again. It's pitch black outside, but she's been drinking. So do we know what she's seeing is actually real or not? And then out of literal darkness comes a knife wielding like zombie. And
Yeah.
it's still from that same shot. It was just so well done. Like,
Yeah.
have nothing but good things to say about that.
Also, another shot that stuck with me, of course, was Josh Brolin, his dream sequence, talking to his son. So emotional. Like, the things he was saying, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is like a tearjerker. Like, he's just a father that wants to see his son again. Doesn't understand why this has happened. Light switches on and it's clown face. You're like, Jesus Christ. And of course, Josh Brolin's reaction to that dream sequence is now so iconic. I know
Yeah.
everyone's talking about that. What the fuck?
I also liked in that dream sequence when he actually sees the house. And I mean, we get an actual picture of an AK-47 or whatever over the house. It is a dream sequence though. I thought this was really cool, man. It kind of reminded me of Enemy, that old David Fincher movie
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
with that thing that's just constantly appearing. If we
The
ever
giant
use
spider in the sky.
Yeah,
That's a
if we ever-
weird ass movie, dude.
I know, but didn't it look exactly like that?
Or
I think-
it just like that looming figure in the sky. I will say when I saw that like M4 or AR-15 in the sky with the giant 217 on it, I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah,
But
I
like
knew it was
it's a dream. Like
Yeah.
they make it clear.
Yes, and he does such a good job of just staying within those lines. Like
Yes.
there is supernatural pieces to it, but his movies, 2 of them, mind you,
Right.
feel so realistic.
No, again, we're talking about Zach Kreger so much, but again, it's just his genius when it comes to directing. Like, both Barbarian in this movie, yes, they have supernatural elements to it, but the movie itself seems so grounded within the community it's filmed in and within reality that it seems like it could happen.
Yes.
Right? Like, I don't think there's some 7-foot giant in a basement of an Airbnb in like a bando in Detroit right now. But like, fuck it could happen due to like 20 plus fuckings of incest.
I mean, yeah, it's a movie. You know, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's a movie, but it's just really, really good writing and storytelling, along with just the way he shoots it, dude. He doesn't have one lens he's using. He has all these different ways of conveying the story. We just talked about the stakeout scene. I loved the very end when Gladys is getting chased by the kid zombies, basically, and it looked like The Last of Us, kind of, right? We get the point of view of like season 1, The Last of Us too. I'll throw that in there. But the girl's running like a fucking zombie. She's running through the house. You can hear her panting. You can hear her socks running on the hardwood
It's DK
floor.
Metcalf just chasing down the wide receiver.
I think that was filmed out of like an iPhone. That's what it sounded like, but it was so dope, dude. Like that the way he shot that was really cool, and he just is. This guy is one of the best directors alive right now. Like, and we're gonna just keep talking about him here, but the cinematography was so good. The music was very good too. They had that weird, almost like rom-com intro song of Weapons.
So that's the thing. I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Like, because again, based on the trailers, you would think that opening scene would be hella creepy, but it almost felt like a fantasy that these kids are just walking out the house, running down the street, and disappearing into the night.
it was
and
like
like-
romanticized. a little
Yes,
bit.
exactly. And yes, it was weird. It might not have matched the tone that people might have thought going into the movie, but I thought it was a great way to set it. And then,
Yeah.
of course, then it cuts to then following the different perspectives.
It wouldn't have worked either had he not spent so much time pumping that trailer to every known market in the
Yes.
world, because we all knew the general plot. If he just started it with it being 217 that night and watching all the kids run out and playing creepy music, it would have been like, okay, yeah, that's
we
creepy,
get it.
but we all knew that. You
Yeah.
know? You can't say all this shit about the trailer and then just repeat it, because a lot of movies do that, and then we're like, all right, well, we're not going to watch the trailer now, but
Yeah.
I'll watch his trailers for sure going forward. All right, do you want to do the writing?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we talked about the characters' POVs. I mean, it was very well done. This was a very non-linear storyline too, but everything connected, everything made sense, and that's why we're both in the high 8s here for
Yeah.
a horror movie, which is seemingly impossible to do because we've done a bunch of them on the channel now. And this hits all the bars, man.
Yeah.
This movie was phenomenal. You can poke holes at, I guess, Alex being a kid and going along with his crazy aunt, but I don't think that's a
But
plot hole.
Yeah, no,
just don't.
it's not, because he's a kid that loves his parents, and he sees this lady force his parents to stab themselves in the face with a fork. Like, of
Yeah.
course he's going to do anything he can to be like, no, stop that. Like, I'll do whatever. Right? And I saw an interview where Zach Kreger says, like, yeah, there might be, like, a couple plot holes here and there, but, like, who cares, really? Like, the cop car sitting outside the house the whole time, like, the fact that he doesn't show up back at the station and no one's like, where the fuck is Paul at? Like,
No,
we
that's
should
true,
probably
but that was
investigate this, but...
that's true, but that was also the same. I believe Josh Brolin and Judy. Is it Judy Garland? What's her last name?
Julia Garner.
Julia Garner. Julie Garland's another famous
Mm-hmm.
actress. She's older though. But when they show up, I think it's dawn of that same night. So, yeah, I hear you. There probably would have been another cop on scene sooner than that. But I just give him the nod because he spent so much time showing us how Paul got there in the first place, and it all
Yeah.
made so much sense. And
Yeah.
Paul's also not. He doesn't have his. Dude, he doesn't have his fucking camera on. Remember?
Yeah.
He takes
That's
his
right.
camera off when he starts chasing James, so you could throw that in there. And I don't think his fucking commissioner gives a fuck where he is. at
Yeah,
the time.
probably not.
You know?
Probably thinks he'd skip town because he does
Yeah.
not want to show his face around that precinct again.
So
No, I will say, though, big credit to the writing, and I'm glad you touched on this earlier. When you're watching this and you're seeing the multiple perspectives and you get a glimpse into the life of the different people, right? The principal, Benedict Wong. You get a glimpse into the druggie's life. But each character and each perspective that you follow adds a little bit more to the overarching storyline, right?
Yeah.
With Benedict Wong's character, you see how Aunt Gladys is actually manipulating and hypnotizing these people. You see what she does with his ribbons to the stick and then snaps it. So that's where you get a glimpse into how she's actually controlling these people. With James's character, like we mentioned earlier, you actually get to step foot in the house with him and see what's going on inside, versus Justine earlier, who's just on the outside kind of scoping it out, just talking to Alex. So, and then of course it wraps it all up with Alex in the end showing exactly what the fuck has been going on.
Yeah.
So I thought the writing there, the pacing and the multiple perspectives was absolutely perfect. And we don't see that enough in movies.
I want to say too that after the first segue, when the kid is narrating the opening monologue, I don't think anybody else had lines up until that point. I think it was just the narrator, and then you had like the gavel, or it probably wasn't a gavel, but whatever they were using to convene at the school for that board meeting. It went right there. I probably have to watch it a third time to get that for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's not actual dialogue until we see Judy's name come on the screen, and then it just takes off.
Justine's name?
Justine, Judy. Dude, I'm never going to get this girl's name correct, but she's a fantastic actress. Yeah.
All the Marvel actors decide to convene for this movie.
The the top letterbox comment I saw was like my favorite person that they didn't find in this movie was Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I saw that shit too.
You told me this,
yes,
but Pedro Pascal was rumored to be the Archer character that Josh Brolin and ended up playing, who I thought did a fantastic job. Pedro Pascal would have been fucking awesome in this movie, though, dude. He would have been. You know he would have been.
Yeah,
he would have been so good. It
but
probably
I'm
would
tired
have taken
of
a little
his face a little bit.
It probably would have taken more away from the overall story, because we would have been like, okay, that role was so good. We'd probably be hearing Oscar here, Oscar there, whatever. But Josh Brolin was fucking awesome too.
I thought he was fantastic.
It in no way, shape, or form made the movie worse or better, but Pedro Pascal would have been so good in that role.
There's something about Josh Brolin that just like exemplifies stern dad. Like, I don't know what it was, but he captured that role really well. Again, it reminded me of Hugh Jackman from Prisoners.
He's just a really stereotypical, traditional American man. That's just what he looks like.
Yes.
And then no like bad connotation to that, but yeah. So like we've both touched on this. The writing, like I think it was very well done. I think this movie overall was really well done. So our final score here, we went with an 8.9 out of 10 for Weapons. That's got to be the highest horror movie we've done, or I guess horror/thriller. But you can find all of our reviews on our website. It'll be linked in our YouTube, our TikTok, all of our social media sites. And we'll be back next Tuesday with another one.
Deuces.
Peace out.